What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick with Leverage Media. Welcome to another special episode of the Path to a Million podcast. Quick reminder, we've got a live Q&A on the Dr. Nick Silveri page tomorrow at noon Central, so bring your stimulus bill type questions with you. Be sure to check out the other videos. I may have answered some of the questions in those videos, so if you can find the specific question that you're going to have in the videos, please watch those first, and then if you still have a question, I like the specific situations because it sometimes I can't think of all the different angles that people might be wondering about. So, all right, this is probably one of the most basic and most asked questions is what are the covered categories chiropractors can use the money for? So once you get the money, in order to get it forgiven, you have to have paid it to one of these covered categories. So I'm going to go through those in detail here. Let me pull up my list. All right. So there's going to be payroll costs, which I'm going to go through that a little bit deeper just because there's some things that qualify, some things that don't. But the other things that are a little bit more straightforward are going to be interest on any on payments on your mortgages. So if you have like a building that your office is in, the interest on that, rent, utilities, and with the rent, you just need to make sure that you've got a lease agreement so you can show that. Utilities, and I can't quite figure out if utilities are just going to be electric, gas, and water, or if that includes things like phone or internet. So I would guess they're going to be pretty lenient on that, and they would probably put things like phone and internet in, but I don't know for sure. So just assume it's going to be electrical, water, and gas. And then interest on any debts that were occurred before February 15th. So that's going to be business debt. I would guess that this means loans, not only business loans, but also like leases on equipment. So you'll need to make sure you're reaching out to the people that own the note on whatever you have loans with on how much of these payments are interest. And the other thing I would look out, while you're doing that, while you've got them on the phone or you're emailing with them, be sure that you're asking for some forbearance, meaning you don't have to pay the principal, that you'll pay the interest but not the principal, because the interest could be paid for potentially through this money. The payroll cost, that's gonna be a little bit more complicated, not as straightforward. So the payroll costs that are included are going to be, any money that you pay employees with, so salaries, wages, commissions, bonuses, like those things are probably not bonuses right now, but anything you pay salaries with up to $100,000 per year, prorated to 8 weeks. So that would be basically like $16,000 and some change. So up to $16,000 and some change over the course of the 8 weeks. If you have employees that are more than $100,000, anything over $100,000 would not count, and they will not. You can pay that, but they're not going to forgive it. Payment for any type of sick leave, medical leave, family, vacation. So any type of payments that you're making outside of just the salaries. Usually that is, most people that's going to be included, like they have that built into their salary. So I don't think that there's anything extra that needs to be paid there. If you do any severance, that would obviously be used for, because you're not going to be laying anyone off right now. So that's going to be used for your payroll costs to like calculate how much you're qualified for. If you do any kind of health insurance premiums, those are going to be included in the payroll costs. State and local taxes on any payroll, so not the federal. The federal you can delay, but you can't. That's not a covered category, so you won't be able to use forgiven money to pay for your. So if you can delay that for right now, I would do that. And then things that it's not going to include are going to be, like I said, anything over $100,000, the federal tax withholdings, and then unfortunately, if someone is not is a non-U.S. resident, I don't believe that they will qualify for forgiven money as well. And then if the first stimulus package, if you're utilizing any of the sick leave or the family leave tax credits that's provided in that first stimulus act, that would not qualify for this money either. So to keep it simple, most chiropractors are pretty much just straightforward paying their employees salaries and wages. So you want to, that's going to be the big one. You're going to have a little bit of money left over, and then that's where the rent, utilities, and the interest payments come in. So don't worry too much about like the details, like unless you have like a large organization and you're paying health insurance, it's not going to make a big difference. And then just be careful with the employees that are making over 100,000. You probably need to have a conversation with them about capping that out at 100 right now, especially if you're not at full capacity. So, and I would guess that most people are going to be pretty helpful on that front. So hope that helped on the covered categories. Remember, anything that you spend on the covered categories will be forgiven. I'll say this. If you get qualified for a loan for $50,000, you can only spend that $50,000 on these covered categories. You can't spend $60,000 and then have they're only going to give you the $50,000, so they're only going to forgive what they gave you the loan for. So it's an actual loan. It's not a grant. They're going to give you the money. They're going to loan it to you. If you qualify, and you'll have to show people, you have to prove that you use this money for covered categories. Which is the list I just went through, and then they will just relieve it. They'll say, yes, check, you used it on the right categories. We will forgive this loan. I said in another video, it does not go against your income tax for this year, so you won't have to pay taxes on that money. It's basically just like it's maybe the only tax-free gift you're ever going to get in your life. So make sure you take advantage of it and spend it the right way.